Ladies and gentlemen, we'll get to Rand Paul in just a couple of minutes because he was vindicated and he was proven right on a lot of things. But I want to just talk again about President Trump allegedly telling supporters or telling people around him that he'll be reinstated. There are numerous articles, Business Insider, why Trump can't be reinstated as president by August. I'll put the Business Insider article below. It will not, okay, the chances that the New York Times or that the journalist that reported on this, the chances that it's an accurate story are close to zero. The psychology behind this is the following. It's part of the public relations monstrosity and spin to paint Trump as this Napoleon or this Freddy Krueger, that he, like this nightmare that will never go away, that will just try to foment another, horrible event of a couple months back. They have this mentality that anyone who supports Trump and that Trump himself is completely unhinged, even though they said nothing and did nothing during $1 to $2 billion worth of property damage and 19 lives lost, according to Wikipedia, from very, very peaceful protests. They view the world through their sensibilities. If they cannot see, this was a non-story. They make up stories. We have no idea. There's no evidence. There's no quote. There's no quote from an email like with Rand Paul. The emails released today, totally proving Rand Paul correct on a lot of things. But we'll get to that in a second. What they do with Trump is if they don't have anything, if it's a slow news week, they'll fabricate something. They'll make it up. Because anything that has to do with Trump gets Democrats, gets their blood boiling, gets them so anxious. It's like this Pavlovian response. They immediately feel morally superior and indignant. And the Democratic Party, liberals in general, and the left, they run off of indignation and this absurd sense of moral superiority. They cannot actually look at what our beloved President Biden is doing. We have now inflationary concerns, a stagnant economy, foreign policy problems, and major dilemmas that are now affecting people in this country, people of my background. We could just go on forever on the streets of America. I don't want to get too into it, but you can look at what's taking place in Biden's America, okay? It's not safer. Crime is up exponentially in certain areas. It's not safer. It's, I don't think, better. But the Constitution and democracy haven't been saved by our wonderful President Biden. So instead of actually looking at all the problems taking place, and you have major issues and human rights issues at the border ignored by Democrats. The same amount or greater than during President Trump's administration. But it's not even reported on. It's not, they don't even care. They want the ghost or the specter of Trump to live on forever. Now, he's already, look, the RNC might actually boycott the debates in 2024 because of President Trump's concerns. If the debate commission doesn't change its policies. I mean, they had a moderator that worked for Biden. Then of course it's always, well, it was 4 decades ago. Like, so what? Who cares? Or 3 decades ago, whatever. If you have it's the conflicts of interest are always swept under the rug with Democrats. Hit subscribe, by the way, to this channel. Hit subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. It is a propaganda and public relations stunt. The story, very likely, it's very possible there are people around Trump who don't like him, or who are simply there to create chaos and mayhem. So any sources that the New York Times has or anyone else has could be from people who might be close to Trump who don't like him. And so therefore they just, or it could be Trump himself, we don't know. But they very likely are people that want to give Democrats the fuel, the energy, the political momentum they need, because they're not resting on accomplishments. Notice how there's zero talk of Medicare for all, zero talk of all the left-leaning policies, from universal basic income to Green New Deal legislation. Biden is the antithesis of all of these things. And Bernie Sanders and AOC and the far left existed only to funnel votes back into the Democratic Party. With Trump, you actually get policies. If you're a conservative, you get tax cuts. If you're somebody like me that wants Americans home from never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts, then you get that. He negotiated a deal to get us out of America's longest-running military conflict. Biden's going to keep us there indefinitely, almost certainly. He says September. I don't trust him. But again, without this moment, they fabricate. It's a story that popped up out of nowhere. Trump is like a despot and a tyrant and authoritarian, exiled, but wants to come back and take control again, with no regard for the democratic process. He's a monster. He's trying to tarnish democracy again. I thought that with Biden president, he's going to, take Scotch tape and just tape back the Constitution and democracy. But you see, again, they have to have Trump as this nightmare, this Napoleon, this Freddy Krueger that will always just come back. Okay? It's not happening. President Biden will remain president until 2024. Okay? President Trump ain't coming back until 2024, hopefully. And for him to actually win again in 2016, he won. For him to win in 2024, we cannot, supporters of President Trump, the 74 million Americans cannot be misled by news stories almost certainly specifically designed to create the impression that Trump is an unhinged tyrant that will just do anything possible to regain political power, including trying to forcefully take back what he believes is rightfully his, like some kind of despot who won't go away. And that's the issue. And that's what they're trying to foment, because they truly believe this. Okay? The peaceful transition of power ended with President Obama leveling his intelligence agencies at Trump. Okay? Trump went through the Supreme Court, and he was never charged with the horrendous, event. He was never charged in a court of law because he didn't have anything to do with it. That's why they wanted a commission to just keep it going. The mayor of D.C. and the attorney general of D.C. never leveled charges at Trump. Why? Because he was protected under the First Amendment, and he told people to act peacefully. He did not tell people to commit any criminal act or violent act. The people who did that were basically, it's like you basically inadvertently work for the Democratic Party doing these types of, things, from believing in LMNOP message boards to believing that Trump will be reinstated. You don't have to believe those things. We have a process here where all you have to do is ensure you don't believe in nonsense. With 2022, Trump Republicans take over the Republican Party. If the Republican Party stands by President Trump, there's no stopping Trump. Okay, in 2024. Really quickly, Rand Paul, emails released, completely vindicated on numerous fronts. This the misinformation coming from the from people like Andrew Cuomo or from people like a wonderful expert that was championed all throughout the past year and a half. You talk about Democrats having the worst outcomes. Look at the New York Times statistics. And had they listened to Rand Paul over other people, things would be different. Give me your thoughts below. By the way, Rand Paul wants to fire this wonderful expert, or this expert fired. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. Hit subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel right now.